Hi, my name is Hansa. I have a background in communication design, interior and product styling, and this is my project Endgame. For my thesis semester, I explored to understand how humans conceptualize complex environmental crises. The theory of metacognition, the process of thinking of your own thinking, provides strategies to foster environmentally strong behavior. Behavioral change is the most significant impediment to solving climate change, and using metaverse technologies provides an opportunity in experience design to model climate conscious behaviors that can then lead to behavioral change in visitors. And that is what I explored through my thesis. For my client, I chose Nike for a lot of reasons, few of which are their global reach, their interest in sustainability through their Move to Zero initiative, and their constant effort of being into the metaverse and investing in technologies and companies using AR and XR. Target audience, I chose four categories. One is explorers. These are people who are looking for something new, some exciting experiences to share with their friends and family. The second is environmental enthusiasts. These are people who are looking for like minded individuals and more content about sustainability. Then, of course, is Nike loyal fans. These sneakerheads and athletes are people we want to keep pleasing. And technology enthusiasts are a group of people who want to see how experiences integrate tech and what new is being done with the tech. That my project goals and education goals all boil down to this being an educational experience that is made fun, an indirect way of communicating how important sustainability is and how we can use new technologies and the new mediums that have presented themselves over the past few years to talk about problems such as climate change. For the location, I chose Gansevoort Plaza in the Meatpacking District in New York City. The reason I chose this venue is not only because of its popularity as a summer pop up exhibition location, but also its proximity to a lot of retail outlet stores, which then brings in my target audience closer to my venue. Like I mentioned, my thesis explored sustainability and the metaverse. And for this entire experience, I explored what those two concepts could mean through the Nike lens. Speaking of metacognition, through my research, I came across a lot of strategies that we can include, such as mental modeling, comparing ideas, problem solving, and question asking. These are four very popular strategies in the field of education. When we talk about exhibition design, interactivity, assuming roles, and meeting challenges are three strategies that have been proved to be successful. Metaverse is an ever evolving concept, and there's a lot of tech out there that is still being developed. But for simplicity's sake, and based on my research, here are five key technologies that I aim to integrate in my project. They go as 3D construction, augmented reality, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, and virtual reality. So, Endgame, it is a gamified digital, physical, and digital experience that harnesses the metaverse as an educational tool to explore environmental sustainability through the Nike lens. As the intro experience, here visitors are invited to enter the activation footprint and immerse themselves in a kaleidoscopic intro projection that is guided by sound that gives them enough information and a background to what the experience is going to be. This has been inspired by the surreality of the metaverse and using a reflective wall with a digital screen to create this effect. An example of what the animation could look like and how this would warp around the ceilings and immerse every visitor and want them to be curious about what's next. Next up is upload your reality. Here is where visitors get to choose a username and a character and put their email in. They're also briefed about how the scoring and timing system works in the entire experience. There are two ways of signing up. One is through an RFID wristband, and the other one is through the Nike AR app. This zone, particularly, is for the AR app sign up, and this wall is to try out the AR lens. And when you try it out, the sneakers are brought to life. Visitors are also briefed about how the RFID and collection score structure works and how they are supposed to tap on it to collect their score throughout the experience. The first interactive is unbox experience. Here, visitors will find a lot of Nike boxes of their using the sustainable packaging on the wall with lights in the back that flash in different parts of the wall, inviting them to open them up. And as the visitors open each box up, they're going to find different things, few of which are going to be terminology that they need to know in this day and age, and also to navigate through the experience. They're also going to be finding collectibles that are digital and discount coupons. So, this is a very incentivized way of learning these terms. Something similar in terms of content is in the next activity, which is pixel jump. So people can either choose to do this physical activity or just do unbox experience. In pixel jump, you're asked a question like, what do you think sustainability is? And then using the jump pad, you can answer and catch the words that do mean sustainable, what sustainability is. You can also not jump or duck to avoid the words that do not resonate with you as the meaning of the question that has been prompted. This ends up being a very physical and digital way of interacting and self reflecting and learning what these concepts mean and what they could mean. You then move on to Materials and Innovation Lab, where where visitors will find how these raw materials are recycled, turned into fabric, and then into product. I've also equipped them with touchpads because a lot of people are very curious about how recycling materials work and what they feel like. And this also helps them integrate it in their own lives in different ways. After moving and after learning about these materials, visitors get to become a Nike shoe designer by getting to choose a model, the colors, the materials, and reconfiguring what their ideal Nike shoe could be. And then they get to see the entire process of how a Nike shoe is manufactured and produced through these screens. It then generates a digital version of the same shoe for visitors to then try on in the AR mirror. This also becomes a digital takeaway, something visitors can use beyond the activation and into the metaverse on platforms that Nike Land exists on, such as Roblox. We then move on to the heavier side of sustainability and climate change by experiencing cause and effect. In this activation, visitors are called upon to choose a city of their liking, and then they get to pick 6 out of 20 current climate crises and sort them out by order of what is most important according to them for their city. Input by the user, you then get an AI generated forecast that predicts how that city would be based on the decisions you made. This teaches visitors about the causal relationship between our actions and the consequences in terms of climate change, and also how we as individuals have a lot of power in deciding the future. After cause and effect, you get to sit, relax, and decompress in the Zero Lounge, where you can also continue to see other people's interpretations of cause and effect, while also learning a little bit about Nike's products and how they're using post consumer waste or understanding what Nike is doing with their products. You then move to Zero, which is an area that calls you to come and learn about Nike's water conservation efforts. You are then prompted to call people on the pledge pad, and once you are enough people on the pledge pad, it invites you to pledge with Nike to save water since it is a non-renewable resource. And upon doing that, it activates the doors to open up to and lets you go on to the next level. Here is a little bit about the pledge pad. Themed digital experiences. Climate clock is a concept that tells the world how much time we have before we can no longer go save our resources once we cross that barrier. And this experience is also timed and also explains how the climate clock works. This particular question that is prompted here asks visitors, scientists predict that by year dash, plastic pollution will outweigh fish in the ocean. And by using the basketballs, you answer these questions within the climate clock time frame. And this gives people a quick understanding of the concept and also makes them learn about these climate facts that would then help them understand the situation better. The same content is also shared in another sport format using something like the Wii technology in this tennis themed room. After you've answered all your questions, your movement actually on the floor plan has been tracked to create an NFT that is unique to your movement. And this is another takeaway that you can take with you that connects back to the experience and also teaches you what an NFT is and what metaverse technologies can do for us. You then move on to On the Cloud, which is an experience that talks about our digital carbon footprint. Visitors are invited to input how many screens they have, how much screen time they have, and then based on their input, an approximation of how much digital carbon footprint they produce is generated. They are then directed to the first screen, which then tells them your consumption is equivalent of the Eiffel Tower being lit up for 6 straight days. This gives a tangible, quantifiable amount for people to understand that the digital carbon footprint is also requires tangible resources. The next screen then tells you how you can minimize or offset your digital carbon footprint. And the third screen tells you how Nike is pledging and promising to work on their own footprint and how they are integrating. While you've been collecting individual scores after each activity, this scoreboard creates an aggregate of 5 to 7 people. Replicates how our current reality works, where individual action is important, but collective action is weighs way more, and this gives visitors a chance to understand that concept. Based on your score, if you fared well and if you've done a good job, you get to experience the Bloom experience. And if you haven't done a good job as a team, you get to see the Doom experience. You then walk together with your team to the next activation, where again you get to choose between doing a group virtual reality experience, or if you want to just sit and relax in the immersive experience. Like I said, if you haven't done well, you experience Doom, and if you've done well as a group, you experience Bloom. These two immersive experiences then go on to also explain the flip side and show you Doom and the consequences of our action if we don't take enough initiative right now. And if you've experienced Doom, you also get to see a little bit of hope through Doom. Since that is the end of my entire experience, I wanted to talk a little bit about my structure. I've used old shipping containers and restructured them to create this entire experience. I've also worked on the graphics and the exterior of the entire experience so that it can be reconfigured and used in a retail setting. So these arches that we see are actually sized and engineered to be retail facades for the Nike stores. A little bit about my visual identity, some takeaways like the wristband and all the digital, and that's about it. Thank you.